Hey, shalom, good morning. Good old fashioned walk and talk this morning because I haven't done one in a little while and I got a lot of thoughts going around in my head. Thoughts that are related, thoughts that I think are sort of important. So, I think it's Fox News is running a story. Come on, this morning about pro abortion people planning some sort of anti Christian activity on Mother's Day. And immediately I posted or commented, that's just fascism right there. That is pure evil. But you got to look at, there's a whole big context here, and I'm going to try to cover everything. Because I didn't finish. I've just gone through Alexander Hamilton's duel with Aaron Burr. So in the book, he has just passed away, and the nation is starting to mourn him as one of the founders of the nation having passed. I'm also watching a based on history series on a Muslim ruler that through various means I've heard of, and it says it's based on history, and they've said it in, I think, around the 1200s. Everyone in the series is wearing authentic clothes. They're living in big yurts. They're talking about starving over the winter because their flocks have poor, pasture. And so there's political pressure on the leadership to do what is right for the tribe. And that's one thing that's being emphasized in this series, is how people sacrificed everything for their tribe. Their obedience, their actions, their lives even sometimes. So I thought that was interesting and sort of germane to what we're trying to do here with tribe for preparedness and stuff. Let's see if I can. Where is she? She's convinced that I have the magic to feed her, where it's actually her mother, but her mother was making us put her on the milking stand in order to feed her. This is the one that got nursed by us, and so the mother started to sort of reject her, but not really. Hey, come on. So back to what I'm talking about here. You have a group of people who believe in killing other people in the womb. Now, this is the idea that the whole world was sold on in the 70s and early 80s. How do I know? Because I was there and I saw it. For women's rights, women were too, oppressed in America by the model of 1950s America, which was a post-World War America and a time of great growth and prosperity in the United States. And the idea of the 50s woman, see, it's always somebody. Yeah, listen, you little stinker. I don't have anything for you. It is the idea of 1950s America that is embodied in this kind of TV show, if you want to see it, or in fashion, of the woman in the 50s poodle skirt type dress. And she stays home and she keeps the home, and she's a mother to her children, and she's trying out in the early 60s all these recipes, and the Julia Child situation is really exemplary of that time frame, what she wore in her show and what she was doing with her chefery was in the same time frame where she broke out of the mold. She became, her husband was working for the CIA, and I think she may have too. Everything is a little sticker. And so she wanted something different for her life. She wasn't going to have kids, and she decided she was going to make a cookbook anthology, and then she got a TV show and everything. She's a very intelligent woman and driven, and, wasn't going to just stay at home while her husband worked and whatnot. I mean, it's just, look at her. She's climbing on me now. She's on my butt, shoulder. Yep. She's going to steal the show. Shame on you, you little stinker. Uh, so you have that part of our culture, and our culture was rock solid. The 1950s to like the early 70s was a very productive time in the United States, and also on up into about 2000. Reaganomics saw a lot of growth in the tech part of our culture, and business part of our culture. I'm gonna have to get out of this girl's area. She's just too distracting. Get down, you little monkey. Um, and so there are other cultures now. Look at that, some squirrel stashing acorns in the stump. There are other cultures going through that right now, where they're having a growth. Their culture has stabilized. And two things help in the growth of societies like that. One is the family unit, and the other one is business. Business is prosperity. And even in the days of these Turks, even in earlier days, the Vikings, even earlier, Native American tribes, business, trading, bartering helped with the wealth of your tribe, and wealth helped your tribe grow. And the family unit stabilized your culture because you had a continuous input and growth of people being born, of elders passing on wisdom to like middle agers. You had stability in the tribe with tribe norms, with tribe rules. That's another something that's coming through in this series that I'm watching. The elder, they're calling him a bay, or B. His word is bond. You cannot go against his word in the tribe in any way. As a matter of fact, one way that this is shown in the series is everyone had to ask permission to enter a person's tent. She followed me. Can you believe that? She's probably going to try to climb on me here. Women entering other women's tents, men entering the leader's tent, women entering the leader's tent. Respect had to be given to the elders, which was in Native American tribes, which is in Japan and Korea, Asian cultures right now. All of that is for cultural stability. And so when you see these pro-abortion, which is basically pro-infant death, let's just call it what it is, because it was sold in the 70s as women's rights, and people ate that up. But that's not what it actually is. It's actually pro-killing a baby. And that baby does not become a dolphin when it grows up. It becomes another human. So we're saying murdering babies is killing adults in the womb before they're even born. And the Margaret Sanger, who started the Planned Parenthood in America, followed the philosophy of a guy who said people are growing at an exponential rate, but resources are growing at a flatline rate, and so we've got to do something to get rid of the inferior races. He was no better, really, than a Nazi, and their plans for instituting their belief system was city planning, where you put the inferior people in a bad part of town near the swamps, where, hopefully the yellow fever and the malaria kills them all, and starvation. You put them one house on top of each other. And for you who don't read the Bible, it says in there, don't do that thing. Don't put people in houses one on top of each other, because the competition of everyone being in one little small spot makes people rats, chickens. If you do it with chickens, they start to cannibalize each other. And so back to our time frame, we've got these pro baby killers who are now threatening the one institution in our country that is absolutely for the right of a baby, and that fights these baby killers head on. You've got the Christian church, you've got the Catholic church, you have Mormons and other faith-based institutions that understand that that baby is a person, not a thing, not a fetus. It doesn't matter what you call it. That's a person in the womb. And now the baby killers are threatening violence against those people who want to save other people. Now, this is just a sign that our culture is very, very sick. But it's also a sign of destabilization, of when our country in the 60s started saying, oh, women need rights and burn your bra and burn your ID card and, free people on the land. That's a communist thing. Okay, communists are all about the people. And yet in a communist country, the people who are benefiting from communism are the ones at the very top. All pigs are not equal. And I didn't read the book, but that's what it's about. Can't even remember the name of the book now. Something farm. Anyway, when we have in our culture people who cannot even decide if they're a male or a female. Now you only have two choices there. Nature does not normally, if you are born in between, it's abnormal. It's not normal. Not most people have that happen, and it's anomaly. Your genes basically your genes have misfired, and your hormones haven't worked in the way they're supposed to, and so you come out mixed. It's not something that happens to everybody. The majority is male and female, right? Just two. You only have two choices. It's like saying, do you want a burger or do you want a chicken sandwich? You just decide one or the other, burger or chicken. If you can't decide, have a bite of both. But that's not the point. The point is the confusion. The confusion of not understanding you're killing a person. The confusion that allowing people to be on drugs at any time of the day or night is not a good thing. Now, I know there's lots of people who would argue with me, just let people do whatever they want. It's important to your tribe, okay? It's important to your tribe that no one in your tribe is addicted to some substance that takes away their productivity for the tribe, okay? If you have a group of the Mongol horde, and then you have a group of these drug addicted people and they get in a fight, who do you think's going to win? Right? You have to be, that's why our soldiers are trained and have to physically work out every day and are constantly in a training cycle doing the things that soldiers have to do, because they have to be at their utmost when they come in competition with any other military. It's no different in your tribe. And the tribe has to take care of its problem children. That's the other thing about tribe. So why am I talking about tribe? Because, like I said, the Turkish series that I'm watching, tribe is all important. It set standards. It made sure everyone got fed. They work together to produce things. The women in this show are making carpets and drapes, certainly from wool. And the yurts or whatever it is that they're living in are made of wool, and they've dyed them and made them look really colorful and pretty. You've got people in the tribe who are the fighters. You have people in the tribe who are traders, who take and pack a caravan and take the caravan somewhere and sell the goods and bring it back to the tribe. You have tribal leaders who are handling the politics, and the tribe leader goes to a bigger leader and asks for permission to move into a part of his territory that is better for the tribe, because where the tribe is running out of resources, and so they're starting to lose people and livestock through starvation. And so the leaders are politicking at that level to get them a new place to go. And this is all important, because when a culture fractures, when you do not have a national identity anymore, and our national identity has been under attack for a while, apple pie, burgers and hot dogs and picnics and cookouts and farmers and cowboys and American ethics and morals and hard work is all under attack. then the power structure falls back to regional, states' rights, tribes kind of stuff. And that can be a really good thing. You can have a tribe that's known for its warfare. You can have a tribe that's known for its food production. You can have a tribe that's known for its entertainment value. Um, and it's really hard to fight a tribe. And Afghanistan is a perfect example of that. They are still a tribal uh, society, and they have defeated the world's most advanced military uh, army at least 3 times in their long history: Alexander the Great, the Russians, and the Americans. And now the Chinese are moving in, and there's already articles on how the Afghanis are killing the Chinese whenever they're stepping out of their bounds. So when you are loyal to your tribe first, then all other questions become very, very simple. Is it good for the tribe or not? And if it's not, you just don't bother. Even the Afghanis that we poured training and money and everything else into often turned on us because they were just putting up with, the Americans shoving guns or money or whatever in their faces and going along with it, but they really weren't in it. And at the end, when we left, they went right back to the tribe. So, stuff for you all to think about. Alexander Hamilton comes into the picture because he and the founding fathers, and yes, I know there were people here when they got here, that's a whole other discussion, who set up the best government in the world. They were not quote unquote tribe, but they were individuals with ideas that were important that all agreed, and they decided to move in a direction towards it. But what they did do when they were setting up our country was think very hard about the government they wanted, because they had seen what King George in England had done. Alexander Hamilton had studied other governments. George Washington had been a surveyor. He had been still was a plantation owner. Jefferson was a plantation owner. There were a lot of different things going on in there. Sam Adams was a brewer. They all had something that was important to them, and so they tried to make a government that would protect all of that, not just one person's point of view, but all the points of view. And they come up with the best government. But that government has to be upheld or it starts to crumble, and it flexes. I've talked about that before. The abortion law right now that these baby killers, people killers, rabidly are just threatening violence to their fellow citizens over is a perfect example of a governing body of judges who judge the constitutionality of the law and decide whether it's unconstitutional or something that the federal government doesn't need to have its hand in, and sends it back to the states. That is a perfect system, because then you will have states who are like, yeah, we'll let people have abortions in our state, no problem, versus other states that are like, we don't believe in that. And so if you want an abortion, go to the state that allows it. It's that simple. But if you don't understand government, and you don't understand history, and you don't understand what's really at stake, and you're just believing propaganda or working on emotions, then you're going to see this problem in the way these people are seeing it and threaten other people with violence, which you need to be ready to defend yourself against stuff like that. They specifically said against churches on Mother's Day. So you guys, don't be in church on Mother's Day, or go the day before or something, because Mother's Day is just a holiday. It's not worth your life. All right, y'all, I got to get to chores. Bless you. Shalom.